On the Wild West, the line between law and crime was often thin. Few stories illustrate this better than the fate of the Dalton brothers. You've likely heard of the Dalton gang, but do you know the full story? The Dalton brothers were born in the mid-19th century in Kansas, into a poor but large family. Among them were Frank, Bob, Grat, Emmett, and Bill Dalton. They began life far from the violence and notoriety that would later define their name. The eldest brother, Frank Dalton, chose the path of law and order. He became a deputy U.S. Marshal in the Indian Territory, present-day Oklahoma, believing the Wild West could be tamed by justice. But in 1887, Frank was killed in a shootout while trying to arrest outlaws. He was only 27 years old. His death changed everything. After Frank's death, the brothers took different paths. Bob, Grat, and Emmett initially stayed on the side of the law, working as sheriffs and deputy sheriffs in dangerous frontier towns. They knew the law from the inside, how criminals thought, and how the system worked. Bill Dalton, however, went his own way. He operated separately with his own gang and was never part of what became known as the Dalton Gang. Over time, knowledge of the law drew Bob, Grat, and Emmett to the other side. They abandoned their badges and turned to bank, train, and stagecoach robberies. Their name soon spread fear across Kansas and the Oklahoma Territory. The Dalton Gang carried out a series of bold robberies, attacking trains, robbing banks, striking fast and violently. Manhunts followed, growing more frequent and more brutal. Law enforcement labeled them one of the most dangerous gangs of their era. Their story reached its climax in 1892 in Coffeyville. The brothers attempted the unthinkable, robbing two banks at the same time. But the town fought back. In the gunfight that followed, Bob and Grat Dalton were killed. Emmett Dalton, riddled with bullets, miraculously survived. Emmett was sentenced to long-term prison, later released, and lived to see the complete downfall of the gang. Bill Dalton was not at Coffeyville. His story ended later, in 1894, in Mexico, where he was killed by the law. The story of the Dalton brothers is not just about crime. It is a story of family, fate, and choices. One brother died for the law, and others lost everything because of it. The Wild West was never black and white, and the fate of the Dalton brothers shows just how thin the line truly was. Thank you for watching.